Renko?
Yes.
Renko?
Yes.
Yeah, we can start.
Okay. Do we need to wait for other people?
Yes.
Well, for the speaker.
Renko? Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah, we can start.
Something to do with the video. Hold on.
Okay. Do we need to wait for other people? Yes.
Yeah, Shirlina is not there, and we need her. Vision where we aspire to is what we do to get that vision. I like that. That is a very simple way of saying it. Okay, here is our center stage speaker. Is back. I think we're good to go, Renko.
okay, are we good to go?
Yes, yes.
All right.
And
Welcome back, all the members and Toastmasters. Now, our next session is the central stage. Our trainer is our president, Shirlina He. Shirlina has over 25 years of experience in financial services sectors, where she led teams to achieve 300% returns on investment, was instrumental to the consolidation of an alignment of 3 different businesses and transform an underperforming team to one of the industrial best. Since 2014, she is the director of an investment holding company. Her topic tonight is training for success. Training for success. And the time given is 45 minutes. I will pass the stage to Shirlina He. Over to you.
Thank you, our Toastmaster of the meeting. Could someone kindly do the timing for me, please? Thank you. Right. Can you see my screen? The slides? Thank you.
Yes, we see the slide.
Thank you. So, before I get into the core of this session, let's start with some mental gymnastics. So I am your prospective clients. I come to you, trainers, coaches. And Dr. Sofiana Chua actually touched on the strategic aspect of it, which is on the business high scale level. And I am touching on more on the people performance level. So that is the very good alignment, I would say, today training session. But somehow you will see some synergies between the two. So I am your prospective client, trainers and coaches. I come to you with this scenario. My compliance is out. My error rate is out. My staff attrition is out. Productivity is down. Performance is bad. Engagement is down. You are the trainers and coaches I'm looking to help with my business. So I like to ask you, what would be your first response or approach to this scenario? So I'd like to ask you all to think, what would be your most likely response when I come to you as your prospective clients? Let's give ourselves 3 minutes. I'm going to time this 3 minutes. Think about this scenario I'm giving to you and what would be your response or your approach to this scenario.
can you repeat who's the client? Are we the client or you are the client?
I am your prospective clients. You are going to provide service to me. And you see me and I tell you, these are the situation here. So what would you respond to it? What would be your responses?
Based on this. based on
Yes.
this scenario. What is your biggest challenge? I mean, the one that is most, because you have many, and then which one is more urgent or more important to take care of?
Yep. Anyone else would like to try?
Lorna.
Go ahead, please, Lorna.
I would like to ask about your culture. I saw someone said root causes. So I'd like to know what the cultural climate is like in the workplace, because there are people that are leaving, and it looks like they're on slow time because there's low productivity and engagement. So there's something wrong. And a way to find it is, have you done a survey of your staff to find out what the
Okay.
issue could be?
Yes, that's also part of it. Anyone else?
Lorna is raising the hand.
She just did. Anyone else? How would you respond to this? I am looking for your service.
Find what the real cause is for all this is.
Yes,
root
that's
cause.
right. Find the root causes. Anything else?
What would you like?
What would you like?
What outcome would you like from this interaction or this consultation?
Yes. Anything else you could think of?
What do you expect?
You expect? Yes.
Which one do you want to address? Which are the most urgent or the prioritized ones?
Yes. Which one you'd like to address? Which one is the most urgent for you? What else? Let's try one more time. Sorry, one more. Okay, Lorna, go ahead, please.
I would like to know what your customers are saying.
Okay, want to know what your customer is saying. All of you have all the correct points. Now, let me say this. When I was the decision maker in the business, when I go out to look for help, trainers or coaches for my group of people, what do I do? You think about what is in my head before you even offer the solution. I am the business owner. All these scenario I gave to you, what is it telling me, telling trainers? My business is bleeding. My profit margin is down. My client base is reducing. I am not meeting my KPI. My performance bonus is decreasing. My stakeholders, shareholders are not happy. Will you still ask the same? Will you still start with the same approach you just did? So first thing, tap into what is in their mind. That's what I did, and that's how I experienced. When I was a decision maker, when I look for trainers, I like to listen. How do they respond to that? So now I'm a trainer. I put myself into the decision maker's mind. So that was one thing that I did always. Now to them, is that I have a problem. I need to solve this problem. I need to address it. If I'm going to engage a trainer, it's going to be an investment for me, and it's going to cost me money. It's going to cost me time. Now I'm going to elaborate on this a bit later. So they were thinking how much I'm going to have to invest, and what is going to be the time frame, and what is going to be my return on this extra investment. And as a trainer, think about what is the outcomes. Straight away, think about the outcomes. Right? What next? Remember, think about what they are thinking in their head. They are telling you the little details, but the big picture in their head is different from the little details. So details are the symptoms, but some other thing is beyond the symptoms and the causes. So as a trainer myself, when I heard all this issue, first thing first is what are their current challenges, as you rightly asked many questions in the beginning. So understand as it is situation, just as it is, no others, just as it is. Always remember as it is. Then you gather information. If you are helping a larger business unit, remember the person that approach you may not be the person who has the inside information. So you're not going to get much detail out of it. Try to access to the business unit manager, the particular area departmental having this issue. If you are dealing with a larger business unit. So I was one of the business unit under a large department of 400 over employees. So if you're talking to my top, my boss's boss, you're not going to get anything out of it. Of course, my boss's boss will tell you I have these problems, but he will not be able to actually give you more detail than this as it is situation. So gathering information, remember, look for the business unit owner who has the inside information. When you hear about performance, always remember it deals with capabilities and motivation. So then make it tangible. How do you make it tangible? Now, tangibility is key for me because it is something that I can measure success from the beginning to the end, throughout the whole progress. Sorry, I can track the progress throughout the whole process. If you're just basing on, yes, it looks like it's getting better, it's getting, well, seeing some improvement, but if you cannot measure it, you will not be able to address it effectively. So how do we make it tangible? For me, how do I make it tangible? I always have a matrix. So I just say performance equal to capabilities times motivation. Remember, you have a very capable people without motivation, the performance will be. And you have high motivated people with low capability, performance still be. If you have both capability and motivation on the higher scale, your result will be excellent. So in terms of capability, you look at the ability, what it refers to, the skills, experience. These are just some examples. Of course, when you deal with the actual cases, it may come down to some sort of other more specific skills that you need to include as part of the measurement. So for me, I just use skills, I just use experience, but you might want to tap into something qualifications, or you might tap into something else about quantitative or this kind of special knowledge, whichever you're dealing with. So for Renko's, this empire, he may need to put in more ability to that aspect. Yep, for example, transportation, for example, accessibility, for example, all the things that for your business. In terms of capacity, the time, the productivity, how much time is given to do a task, how much time is given to produce something, and how is the productivity look like in terms of the time? You are expecting to produce 100 cases in 1 hour or what? You need to be able to measure that. So those are information you can only get it through talking to the right people. Then come to resources. What tools is available? If I need help, support, where can I go? Do I have a mentor? Do I have a charter? What it is all about? So this thing need to be there. So if you have this information and the capability for people to be able to do the job well, then you will see what you can do to help. The next is the motivation. Remember, Dr. Shirlina Chua just mentioned about alignment of values. the purpose, the vision, and the mission. What am I supposed to do? What am I here for? How am I supposed to do it? And clarity or goals. And about clarity or role sometime. Who is my boss? Do I have 10 bosses? Do I have one boss? Who is my direct report? Who is my indirect report? What am I supposed to do? Do I report to this person? Do I report to that person? All this information is a combination of things that under motivation. Do I have equal opportunity? Do I have work-life balance? Is the environment conducive? Have I been incentivized? Yeah. What do I need to do if I need support? Where do I go? All these things that come into this picture is up to you to list it out because every business is different. So far, so good. So with this spelled out in front of you, how do you quantify it? Yes, Lorna.
Sorry, that was not a question. I'm sorry.
It's all right. So I'll continue. So you have this information. Remember, it's up to you to list it out in the business that you are helping. When you have this, how do you use the matrix? So this is just an example. Sophia and I have a session that I really find that this could tap into it very well as well. But again, these are examples because I'm just playing around with the numbers in order to have a visibility of what I'm talking about. So if I'm going to train a department of people, and if my ability, I'm looking at skills, experience, and you might have qualification, you may add other things. I'm going to score then on the bottom left corner score, I use what the business is using so that it's aligned to the business that I'm supporting. If I use a different term, it will confuse them. So I try to match as closely as possible. So if the skill is 4, 1, 2, 3, whatever, score them accordingly. Because this is information, this is constructed information, this is key information to help trainers and coaches if you are going to provide your service. So what I do is look at all these numbers on the right-hand side. What is the overall? Which bit that I am going to pay attention on? So far, so good. Then overall, this is my score on capability for this particular business I'm going to help. The same thing go to motivation. Again, these are examples. You can put as many as you like according to the business you are supporting and score them accordingly. Now, this score is a little bit less precise because it goes a bit with feeling sometimes. But somehow you still be able to show some sort of scale by using what makes sense to people. Over here, because it is something to do with kind of more emotional behavior side of thing, I will say I will use something more consistent to that. Again, the same thing. I look at the overall result on the motivation. So with that too, I will start devising a training program. Alona, you have your hand raised. Would you like to ask a question? Okay, good. Sorry, maybe you forgot to, yeah. All right, so continue. Devising training program based on this will give you results. Okay, Heidi, you have your hand raised.
Yes, hi, Shirlina. Yeah, thank you for sharing these metrics. So I'm just wondering, when you do the scoring, do you have like a set of questions that we ask in order to put this to evaluate whether it's a 4 or 1 for aligned values on all the other criteria?
Yes, there are some details to it. This is give you overall picture of how you set the metrics.
Okay,
But
so there will be there will be questions as to how to assess it, right? Some standard questions.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you will have a look at the business that you are going to service, you are going to provide support to. Your set of question will be relevant. At the same time, your set of question is going to drive the outcomes the business want to see. Okay. Sorry, Heidi?
Yes, okay. I'll go on. Yes, thank you. I got it.
Thank you. You have your hand raised. So when I have this information, this is the basic I use to devise a training program. I don't start devising training program at the beginning. And remember when I did the mental gymnastics at the beginning, we all come into this very quickly. But I don't. I only come into devising the training program only when I know what numbers I'm dealing with. Heidi, you have your hand raised. Do you have a second question?
No, I'm sorry. I think I will put it down. Thank you.
All right, sorry, I'm just checking. No problem. So when I devise a training program, based on that matrices, the content always is my key priority. One of the key points I look at, is it relevant? Is it addressing that issues that I saw? And come to duration and frequency. At the very beginning, I talk about when the decision maker is talking to us. Remember, investment equal to cost past time. And when I devise a training program, I always think carefully about the duration and the frequency. I give you an example. When I was running a department of many staff, and one trainer came to me, say, I am going to give you a full day training for this particular topic. What do you think was my immediate response? What do you think was my immediate response? Have a guess.
What are the contents?
You are really nice, Lorna. It's going to take away my whole department, meaning my whole department have to shut down for the day. And it's a department that will affect the overall business if it shut down for the day.
I would say no. I won't
No.
allow it.
No. So back to the time when you set out this session about finding information, gather information, remember, talk to the business unit officer, always find out those information as part of the information gathering exercise. And unfortunately, this bit was not actually understood. So immediately I say no. I can't afford to send my whole department for a training that is going to cost the business more than what it should cost and more than what it already led. So remember, duration, frequency needs to be aligned to the business so that the business can remain functional, operational while the staff undergoing training. And as a trainer, we need to be aware of that. And as a trainer, I always avoid Mondays and Fridays because after a holiday or public holiday, nobody have time to go for training. Nobody had time to listen. They just only think about catching up with their volume. And business closing, month-end closing, busy period, financial end closing, don't try, because you're guaranteed to have no as an answer if you are going to do training. So I always avoid that. And the other aspect, which I find very key, is collaboration. What does it mean by collaboration? I am a specialist trainer. I am very good in area that I'm very good at. And someone come to me, say, can you do a motivational behavioral side? I would say, no, I won't do it because I'm not good at it. So I usually will find someone in my network who are good at it and ask them to help. And there were example also, someone asked me to do a medical terminology training. I say no, even though I deal with it on a day in, day out basis, because I know fairly well what is the repercussion of me doing such a training. So I collaborate, always ask someone else who has the expertise in that area to assist. Yep. So when you have the training program done, what's next? Before we look at what's next, I like to now get to the second mental gymnastic. So I like to practice what we covered so far. I know we covered on a high level, but we can still apply some aspect of it. So I like to ask anyone on the floor, you have any situation in the business, if you like to share 1 or 2 points, then we can start to practice on the diagnostic. We can start practice and then look at the diagnostic. At the same time, we can create the matrices, including the training program. Anyone on the floor, you have a couple of points that you like to put it in and we can use it as a practice? Anyone have the business challenges right now? Any volunteer? If no volunteer, I'm going to put out 2 outcomes again, 2 points again. So I would like to practice on it. Now I come to you, trainers and coaches. Performance is down. Okay. Let's say I am I'm an asset manager. So I say the returns are down. I don't have time. So how would you approach that? Go back to the first point, remember, tap into what I'm thinking when I say performance is down. And tap into what I'm saying when I say I don't have time. What do you think I'm talking about? Anyone would like to try? Is anyone still on screen?
Yes, we are, Shirlina.
Okay, so when I say performance is down or performance is negative, remember I say I'm an asset manager. So what does it mean when I say performance is negative or performance is down? What is in my head?
Your clients are not going to be happy.
Yes.
The money is not increasing.
Yes. Yes.
And you don't have time to. You don't yourself have time to delve into it alone or something like that.
Yes, they are all relevant. So when I look at performance, I talk about money is down, right? So I'm talking about money here, or I'm thinking about money. So my capital is losing. I'm losing capital. I'm losing my big chunk of money. So that will be the first thing you hear, what I'm saying, I'm not saying. Yeah, what I'm thinking in my head, but I'm not saying. So now look at the diagnostic. If this is a situation, how would you look at it? Is that capability and motivation? Or is it both? So when we design a performance matrix, do you only look at ability, the skill, experience? Is there anything else? So for this asset management side, we look at also the class, the portfolio, and how is the classification. So these are example I said just now, depends on the business you're trying to help. This is where you will increase the component here, whether is it only limited to skill, experience, qualification, or any other things that you could think of. And when I say I don't have time, so I'm having capacity problem. What is it I'm having? Is it the time? Is it the productivity? Is it something else? Is this really the expertise I'm lacking of? When we do these matrices, it's really up to us, fact finding. This is the thing that you want to find out before you even consider what sort of training you're going to provide. And also, the performance equal to capability times motivation. In the motivational side, on the motivation aspect of it, what's the purpose? What's the vision? Sofiana made it very clear just now. She gave a very good explanation of vision and mission, because many people confuse these two definitions. So if I want to be the best in the industry in providing the best return, highest returns for my client, my core value is what? And also the goals. Sofiana also touched on this, the values, the goal, as well as other things that we need to think about in this bracket. So measure then. When you do this, for me particularly, when I do all these matrices, it really gave me a very good insight information, not only high level view, it gave me very good insight information when I devise a training program. I always look at this number first and start with the lowest number. And my priority will be addressing the lowest number first. Likewise for this, if I'm not able to do this, I collaborate with someone else who are better at this. That could simply means the HR personnel, they are very good at it, or another person that HR will refer me to. So now we've done the practice and have the training program that address the priorities, the weakest point. What do I do next? Sofiana have said evaluation. And this is very much to the monitoring, the reviewing, as well as the update. So I usually give a period, agreeable period. I don't actually do this assessment immediately, because for my sort of training is pointless. You won't see any result until a much later period. So for me, always 2 to 3 months. And what do I always do consistently is using the same metrics, measure again. Then I evaluate. At the same time, when I evaluate, I also identify the gaps. Now, if you look at what I was doing here on the matrices, why do I have these individual numbers? These numbers help me to find where are the gaps. If I'm having a higher percentage, I will look at these numbers to see what I can do to fill up the gaps, or is that really these gaps on the key area gaps? So there are 2 points I look at. Is either individual or is either I'm missing something here. Then I will actually start to adapt and provide supplementary training to address the gaps or to narrow the gaps. And that training always reinforce on the weak points. Then obviously, I do the follow-up after the period, the agreed period. And at the follow-up, I also ask for specific feedback. Now, why do I ask for specific feedback? Because that feedback, whatever I see from here, if I do the post measurement, if that numbers improve from 25 to 50, that is like 100%. My feedback, specific feedback, should be aligned to that. It's very obvious when I have 100% increase on the scale and the feedback is not aligned, something is wrong. Very quickly, I can tell. So this is why I make it a point for me. I collect this specific feedback only after a period of time that allowed them to reinforce the changes, the improvement. Then it will give me value if I'm going to ask for feedback. Because I don't actually use those feedback or input. How do you find my training? Yes, she is nice, but it's not helping me to become effective trainer. For business, they are not looking for nice trainer. They're looking for effective trainer who will drive outcomes because their business is bleeding. Their profit margin is dwindling. The stakeholders, shareholders are not happy. They are not meeting their KPIs. Their performance bonuses is going out the door. So they will never look for nice trainer. They will look for effective trainers. So these are keys to what I'm doing. So with that, let's summarize. So understand the desired outcome. Remember when they put out the points, think what they are doing. Go into their mind space, what they are thinking, what they are telling. Then do the correct diagnosis with the untold story using the business unit manager who is actually leading that problematic situation, and do as it is performance. Don't ask any other question as it is right now, there and then. What does it look like? Only then you devise an effective program to address the challenges they are having. After that, you do an evaluation, compare with pre and post. Find the gaps and do a supplement or adapt the training to fill or to narrow the gaps. Of course, remember follow-up, continue to support, to help them to strengthen whatever challenges they are facing, strengthen the units so that they can actually reach a much desired outcome. So with so much to do, what is it for you as a trainer? What is it for me as a trainer? Obviously, testimonials, obviously recurring business, obviously referral. These are the lifeline to our businesses. You try to go out and do everything on the social media platform to get one business. It is less effective than having someone to say, hey, go look for Sofiana. She's really good at this. without any effort, Sofiana. And that's the referral, that's the power of this. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my sharing today. I would like to open to the floor. Do you have any comments, feedback, suggestions, any questions? We are having another 5 minutes, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love, sorry?
Yes, about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
6
I would
minutes.
love to hear from the floor. Yeah, let's wrap up in 5 minutes, Lord. So any comments, feedback, suggestions? I would love to hear from you all, please. Let's 5 minutes.
Shirlina,
Yes.
back to that question about your it is motivation and capability, right?
Yep.
How do you actually populate the numbers on your?
Okay. So how I did it, because I talked to the business unit. How do you score them? Because of all businesses, they measure their skills metrics. So they should have something to base on. So I did not create anything. I just replicate. So in businesses, if they do not have matrices, something is wrong. And that is an opportunity for us to go in and help them to create one. I actually did that once for one business that didn't have any matrices. It's just based on assumption. That is very frightening for businesses because they don't know where they are going wrong. So Sofiana, there's another area maybe you could help strategically directing them. Thank you, Sofiana. So does that answer your question? Anyone would like to give comments, feedback, suggestion, please? 4 minutes. Yes, Miranda?
Well, it's not really a question. There's a lot to digest, and I need to watch the recording again. But what I'm thinking is like, you know, we're in our district, we do a lot of trainings, and none of the training has been done following those steps. And I'm just curious, you know, if that is done, how different would it be? Is that a question? Like,
Yep.
what is your thoughts? Maybe
Okay.
that's what I'm.
So I walk the talk. So when I go for training, I score this myself. So after training, I score it again because I knew exactly what I'm looking for. So if the training did not deliver that, I know exactly where is the gap for myself because that is for my personal growth development. Now, when we look at these matrices, we may think, okay, professionally, business-wise, very simple, bring it to the home. As a parents, my children are not talking to me. My children are not motivated. What's happening? Very quickly, you figure out what happened there. Is it ability to talk to you, or is it my ability because I am so updated with technologies? It's like Renko having a session said they use this, they use this. I didn't even know what they meant with all these emoji. So was it me updated? They were not able to communicate with me because of my ability. And I figured out I was not able to, so I learned all the emojis. Of course, I don't remember all. Likewise, they were not motivated to talk to me because I don't think about what they are having, what the issue is. I'm not aligned to their values, the importance. So it's very interesting. I did a lot of this. I think I said it before. I did a lot behind the scene. Yep. So Miranda, yes, to answer your question, it's worth testing it because if people are using this to measure their own performance or to measure the outcomes, you're probably surprised to see what they see, what they don't see. They will see what they don't see. Because people don't, they just go to training for the sake of training.
Okay. I think what comes to my mind is, where does the adjustment or flexibility lies? Because I just finished a very big training, and didn't all follow all of the, like the materials, but responding also to what is needed in the moment. And the audience told me that they were very happy because they're getting things that they didn't expect to get. And in that way, the value of the training was higher than they expected. So, but and one of the comment is that the adaptability, that I was able to adapt to what they're needing rather than just sticking to the core material, something like that. So yeah, I'm just curious, like when you're very precise in planning this, what would you do, or how would you handle pivoting, or like handling what arises in the moment?
So the way you adapt, that is talking about the agility of you as a trainer, the quality of the trainer. So your measurement will on the qualities of you. Yeah. So part of the measurement you could use as a quality of the trainers, in addition to the materials, in addition to other points.
Okay.
Hence, I say you add on the points as you see is fit for the particular purposes you are trying to measure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are already.
Sorry, I would love to see this actually, as a real training where we have a purpose, like, maybe with a pre-work, having a particular goal or particular objective that we wish to achieve.
Yeah.
And go to the training and do that, and then so that we can see the result.
It would be great to use as for the SDOs.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. All right.
All right. Thank you so much for the questions and also the input. Right. With that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. May I now pass the floor back to our Toastmaster of the meeting, Dr. Ranko Yong, please.
Okay, let's put our hand together for our trainer, our president, Shirlina Shi, for her inspiring sharing session, center stage. Now we move on to our evaluation by Lorna Homan. Over to you for the evaluation. You have to unmute.
Shirlina, thank you for a very interactive and insightful session with you. From previous experience, I was expecting exactly what we got today, and it was really good. I think you led us brilliantly to think, and also to try and think about how this fits with our own businesses. So you led us by asking the right questions, and that is what made the session so helpful and insightful. I feel like I'm coming away saying if Shirlina does training, she's straightforward, she saves time, she does cost saving, and she's results driven. That's what I walk away with when I'm listening to you. What I loved about this is the matrices are tangibles for us to see, possibly be, and to measure some of these things like capability and motivation, which then impact on the business. And from that, you then devise the training. So it's brilliant. You're not just sucking it out of the air. You're not just taking what other people have developed. You're looking at the actual business and what is happening inside that business unit, where the issues are. So it's hard to give someone so seasoned good feedback on improvement. So I thought very hard about this. I think Daisy was asking about questions which led up to the matrices. Like, what are the questions that you perhaps ask? Could we perhaps see some of that next time? A list of questions that would be there. And then, yeah, that was basically all I could think of in terms of that, because you were looking at us, you were just in the moment. It's hard to pick out something that can be improved there. Then the wow factor for me was this, the matrices, the diagnostics and the matrices you talked about, and the advice to someone as to when to say no and how to, you know, how these training opportunities then come up. Also, the impact of effective feedback on training, what that means for you as the trainer. So thank you very much for that insightful talk, and I hand back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.